Hello and welcome to the Media Club podcast. Last month we discussed our experiences with imposter syndrome. Today we'll be discussing our thoughts on three topics, both from a discussion on the New York Times: our experiences with mentorship, uncomfortable assignments, and snitching. Before we begin with today's topic, we're going to introduce our speakers by mentioning our name, grade, school, and answering the question, what is your favorite animal? My name is Kenneth Yang and I'm a senior at Fairmont Preparatory Academy, and my favorite animal is the Black Panther. Victoria?
My name is Victoria Choi and I'm a junior at Troy High School, and dogs are my favorite animal.
Aaron?
Hi, my name is Erin Choi. I'm a junior at Orange Lutheran High School, and cats are my favorite animals.
Frederick?
My name is Frederick and I'm a junior at Cypress High School, and dogs are my favorite animals.
Enzo?
My name is Enzo. I'm a junior at Valencia, and I think that sloths are my favorite.
Joseph?
Hi, I'm Joseph. I'm a freshman at Cypress and I like ducks.
Joyce?
Hi, I'm Joyce. I'm a sophomore at Arcadia High School, and I like alpacas.
Julie?
Hi, my name is Julie. I'm a junior at Hanalani Schools and I really like bears.
Connor?
Hi, I'm Connor. I'm a sophomore at Troy and I like hamsters.
Kyle?
Hi, I'm Kyle Min. I am a junior from Los Alamitos High School, and I am a big fan of big dogs.
Jamie?
Hi, my name is Jamie. I'm a sophomore at Troy High School and I really like penguins.
Leanne?
Hi, my name is Leanne Chaw and I'm a junior at Oxford Academy, and my favorite animal is an orca.
Ryan?
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm a junior at Sunny Hills High School, and my favorite animal is the red panda.
So looks like there's a lot of mix of like dogs and cats, the majority of dogs, so that's nice. Let's move on to the first question of the topic today. So by a raise of hands, who here had a mentor? Okay, so we got a couple hands raised, and that's what it says here. So for those who had their hands raised, who is your mentor exactly?
For me, I think my parents are my greatest mentors, because they always stand by me and like strive to understand me. And I think above everything, like what makes them great mentors are that they aren't afraid to tell me when I'm wrong or when I need to improve something, because it allows me to like grow and learn more.
Oh, and I'll say my soccer coach in middle school was one of the most influential people in my life, because that was when I first moved to the United States, and he played a large role in helping me land a good position, not only in middle school but also in high school. And not only was I gaining like these skills related to soccer from my coach, but something more like such as like valuable advice and life skills that really helped me do well in high school.
Okay, so it sounds like a lot of them played a very important impact in your life or kind of guiding your current life path right now. So in general, what do you guys think mentors, like what role specifically do you guys think mentors play in our lives?
In my opinion, I think mentor and should be kind of like exclusive to someone who kind of understands like what path you want to take and kind of your future, and like as a mentor mentors you towards that area. Obviously there's like people who played a big part of our lives and have like influenced our decisions, but yeah, I think it should be someone who pretty much is like similar to you and like kind of understands what you want to do.
Okay, so that basically that reflects a lot about I think what Victoria said as her mentors was her parents, because they've understood us for a lot. So Is it a good idea for this system to be attempted to be implemented in schools to provide more mentorship opportunities for students who need them?
Personally, I think it's a pretty good idea. I know that my school, we're trying to implement like a senior system where a senior can mentor a underclassman through like just social life, academic life, whatever they need to tell them about. And so we're trying to just get that implemented. And I think mentorship is like really valuable, like a lot of people said. Yeah.
At my school, kind of like Joseph, there's this thing called Friendship Day where students from lower grades can hang out with seniors or juniors during February. And that kind of gives them a glimpse of what high school is like. And like Ryan said, mentorship really should focus on what you're interested in. But since high school is something that everyone has to go through, I think that that's a really good system. And that if other schools implemented that, that could better equip students who are going to encounter more difficult classes and things like that. I feel like it would be better for them.
So it sounds like that it really has a positive effect for people, especially having upperclassmen become mentors for lowerclassmen. So for I guess we're a lot like there's a bunch of mixes of underclassmen and upperclassmen here, but does anyone here see themselves becoming a mentor in the future? Like not as a requirement, but like as an obligation for like anyone who you think is like the most similar to you.
I don't think it would be an obligation for me, but some of my younger friends, I would want to help them and naturally become their mentor, but I wouldn't say I feel some sort of obligation to help them because, like, I don't feel a requirement to. It's just a wanting to.
I agree with Leanne. I think when I get the chance, I would accept and like actually talk to the younger like classmen, but same with Leanne, like I don't feel a strong obligation. I think it's like more of a natural like process.
I would like to kind of follow up on that. Like, it would be really nice if I could become a mentor one day where someone actually sees me as like a proper role model so that I can kind of help this person become a better individual. So I hope that one day I could become, a mentor so I can see other people grow.
So it basically sounds like there's a lot of, I guess, if there's a window of opportunity, then you'll take it for becoming a mentor, which is, my school has also done that, in which they implemented a like freshman senior kind of meet and greet or like a community kind of Zoom session this year, in which they like talk to each other and try to communicate and give advice to the freshmen, which is I think it was a great way to like implement mentorship within the school system. So that sounds like a very positive effect for others. Um, let's move on to the next topic, which is going to be on the topic of uncomfortable school assignments. But before we dive into this topic, I think I would like to give some background on the discussion topic at hand before we go into the questions. So what led to this topic discussion was a recent article on a Texas high school that completely canceled a senior English assignment that required students to look into male and female roles that properly demonstrated the medieval codes of chivalry, as well as perform them in class. So examples of this was when the boys addressed the girls as milady and held the doors open for them and helped them to their seats in class or at lunch, while the girls had to walk behind the boys and were forbidden to complain or whine or demonstrate any kind of intellectual superiority. And as a result, many of the students were like disturbed and uncomfortable about the assignment itself. So for the podcast participants, although this doesn't sound very common for many high schools, what assignment besides like these kinds of types of assignments would has made you feel uncomfortable in school? So okay, it looks like no one has ever faced an uncomfortable assignment in school before. So I guess we'll move on to like the thoughts on the situation itself. So what do you guys think about the school's decision to pull that assignment out? Like was that reflective of these students uh, like advocation for the cancellation of that assignment, or do you guys think that that should still be kept in
I personally think that it was necessary for the school to like pull that assignment out because it's just generally like just straight up offensive, and to like demonstrate in an era where like when women didn't have any rights, and like just replaying that and then like, recalling that and demonstrating today would be like just straight up offensive, and like there could be no proper reasoning behind like why they should carry out that assignment. So yeah.
Saying that that assignment was a good thing and that it was necessary, but I feel like in order for you to like learn and understand why you shouldn't be doing something, you should have to um, come across that discomfort at some point to a certain level. Not saying that that assignment was the best way to educate the students, but I feel like you can't just go through education without learning about things that can make you uncomfortable.
So regarding that topic, I believe it's important for us to learn about these certain things, even if it makes us uncomfortable. However, we shouldn't be thrusted into that scenario because it would most likely be uncomfortable. Like I couldn't imagine being forced into a role that I wouldn't want to be part of. I just want to remember why it's a terrible role, why it's uncomfortable, rather than how it feels.
Okay, so it sounds like the concept of self was necessary to be educated about, but the situation or the assignment that's being given wasn't the proper demonstration, which then leads on to the next question, which would be what would be a better approach to the assignment that the school could offer instead?
I think that the idea of allowing students to kind of experience this isn't too bad, as long as after they go through their assignment in class, they can discuss about how it made them feel and like reflect about these types of historical gender roles. And I think they shouldn't have made all the students do it. I think it should be by choice if the students wanted to. And I don't think they should have like assigned certain gender roles as if like the girls have to be the ones who are pretending to be the female historical gender role and the guys have to be like these chivalrous people. I think it would be better if, and even like more interesting if the students could just choose what gender role they wanted to explore and like kind of reflect upon how those roles in history compared to how they are in modern society today.
Connor, do you have any thoughts on this? Do you think that there could be a better approach to teaching the concept?
Uh, I'm not too sure about how they would change it, but I think everything just needs to be toned down a little bit. Like things like boys addressing girls as like milady, like that's not really hurting anybody. I think on that level it was fine. I'm pretty sure nobody felt like uncomfortable being called milady unless they were. But I think when like the girls weren't allowed to show any intellectual superiority or like they couldn't complain or whine, I think reaching that level, like that's where like everything just needs to be toned down, definitely.
Okay, so it sounds like that the assignment could be carried out to a certain extent. So uh, that leads on to the next question, which is then like, what are the lines schools shouldn't cross for an assignment? So to what extent could these assignments be taken towards, or like, is there even a line at all that people could say, oh, that's too far for an assignment to like be for the students to feel comfort or feel uncomfortable in that case?
Well, I feel like obviously because like the times are different now than even they were like 10 years ago, even though it's not that um far, like it hasn't been that long since like 10 years. Obviously times are very different now, so I think curriculum should always be changed instead of having like the standard, because I know there's like standards that all schools have to follow. But I think that regarding like sensitivity on certain topics, like it's really up to how the students feel, because like I think because obviously there's political differences in an area such as like Texas compared to California, where like the majority of us in here live. So I think that um it's important to be mindful, because like at my school I had to read a book and it talked about how a girl was like raped by her father and stuff, and obviously I was uncomfortable, but it was a sign of those times and it was important for my class to be educated on that. So I think a bit of uncomfortability is inevitable, but it shouldn't be to the extent where like we're learning about things that happened in the past, because the assignment in Texas, like it wasn't to educate, oh, like this is what happened and should not happen again. Like it was to demonstrate like the chivalry that was occurring before, and it's kind of like glamorizing it, and I don't think that that was okay.
So it sounds like that there is a very strong line for those assignments, and that I guess most schools should have that kind of line to be existent there. So we'll then move on to our final discussion, which is the topic of snitching. So in everyone's meaning, or in everyone's case, what does it mean to snitch? Like, what do you guys define snitching as?
I think the usage of the word snitch often has a negative connotation because everyone thinks it's like, oh, you if you snitch, you're something something, like snitches get stitches. I think sometimes it's important to realize that sometimes that it's never meant to be petty. Snitching can be used to kind of ensure that someone is protected. Like, for instance, someone is self-harming themselves. I think that's where you should really, I would say, snitch, because it prevents someone's life from being in danger.
Frederick, do you have any thoughts on that? So what do you define snitching as? Do you think it's good or bad?
Oh, so for me, like I agree with Gigi in the article, because like I also believe that snitching like takes away any trustworthiness that I've been credited with. But I think it'd be better to just tell them instead of snitching if they're doing something like immoral or dangerous. But if if it goes too much, then I think you should snitch. It's better to snitch. Yes.
So onto the case of snitching. Has anyone here ever been in a situation where you had to face decision on whether to snitch on someone or not? Or has no one ever like come to that situation before?
Um, yeah, so a lot of people at my school cheat. Like, obviously every high school has cheating, but my school has like an unusually high number. Like there's like masses of people in my grade and the grade above. Like people were like paying people to write essays like within the school, and like it's like a really, really bad system. But honestly, like I really live by the whole snitches get stitches. Like I'm loyal to a fault, I think. And so when I'm like presented with that situation, because like multiple times I have been like, if I'm not gonna get a punishment for like like not snitching on them, then like I'm not, because if they cheat, ultimately, like that's on them. It doesn't really affect my grade as to what they do, and it's gonna come back to them, like whether it's on the final or like the end of college and that's their major, but like they don't know that topic, or like it's gonna come back to haunt them because ultimately like they didn't learn that topic. So I think that with the exception of someone getting hurt, like I don't think it's ever okay to snitch, and I think that everyone should kind of just mind their own business.
Yeah, I think to kind of add on to that, I kind of took snitching in like a educational connotation. So like in like a school area, not really like telling other people like something bad that someone else did. And yeah, I kind of agree with Enzo, you know, like snitching. I don't know, on like cheating or whatever. I don't think it's gonna make that big of a difference because like in the end, you know, people get lazy, and then like copying something or cheating on one test, you know, even if it does harm someone in the long run, I don't think it's worth kind of like being petty. Because I know like earlier Kyle mentioned kind of people snitch for the well-being of others, but in like educational context, I feel like people just snitch for like petty reasons. I don't think it's that like deep of a thing. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Okay, so it sounds like in the end, although snitching does have a positive connotation in terms of academics, there's not a lot of effect or mass impact that it could have if like you ever do like commit that act. So I guess it doesn't really have that much impact. But that is the end of this month's podcast.